In our previous video, we looked at how to name oxyanions. But today, we want to look at the acids formed by these oxyanions, the names we should give the acids. So these are the oxyanions that we named in our previous video, where the ones given asterisks are the most popular oxyanions that are assigned the suffix 8. So here now, the name of this, the name of ClO3- is chlorate. Coming down to its nitrogen counterpart, the name of NO3- is nitrate. Then PO4- is phosphate. Then the other oxyanions, their names are determined by the number of oxygen present relative to the reference oxyanion. Now, relative to this, if we have an increase of oxygen number by 1, that is ClO4, what do we give to this? Is it still chlorate? No. We introduce per to it because there is an increase in number of oxygen. So the name is perchlorate. Now, coming to the reference oxyanion, if there is a drop by 1, a drop of 1 oxygen, we introduce ite, the suffix ite. So the name becomes chlorite. Chlorite. If there is a further drop, we introduce hypo. So the name is hypochlorite. That was what we did last week. Now, coming down to the corresponding oxyanions of other elements. Here we have nitrates. There is a drop of oxygen number by 1. So what do we name this? The name is nitrite. Nitrite. Now, coming down to that of phosphorus. PO4- is phosphate. PO3- should be what? It should be called phosphite. Phosphites. Because there is a drop in number of oxygen. Now, coming down further, there is another drop in number of oxygen from 3 to 2. So we introduce hypophosphite to it. Hypophosphite. All right. So these are the names of the oxyanions. Now let's come to the acid formed by these oxyanions. That is, when these oxyanions react with H+, they will give us the acid equivalent of the oxyanions called oxyanionic acids or oxyacids. Now, if Cl4, 1- reacts with H+, we are going to get HCl4 acid. And what's the name? We are coming to the name. Then if we get HCl4 for Cl4-, we are going to get HCl3 for Cl3-, and we will get HClO3, HClO2, then HClO. These are acids. How do we name that? Go back to the reference. The reference is ClO3. The acid, the corresponding acid is HCl3. So if the name of the oxyanion is chlorate, the acid is going to have an IC ending. If it is chlorate, it will have IC ending. Therefore, the name of the acid is going to be chloric acid. Chloric acid. Now, there is a drop from 3 to 2. The ite is going to change to os acid. Remember, 8 changed to ic acid. The ite is going to change to os acid. So if we have chlorite, we are going to have chlorous acid. Chlorous acid. Now, coming further, there is another drop in oxygen to get a hypochlorite. The hypochlorite is going to change to hypoos acid. So now, therefore, we are going to name it. This hypochlorite is going to give us hypochlorous acid. Now, coming up, there is an increase by 1 here, and that gave us perchloric oxyanion with hydrogen is now an acid. You name it. That perchloric is going to give us perchloric. That perchlorate. Perchlorate is going to give us perchloric. So the name of this is perchloric acid. Perchloric acid. That is what we are going to get. So the oxyanion ClO4- is perchlorate. The acid equivalent is going to give us perchloric acid. The oxyanion chlorate is going to give us chloric acid. Chlorite will give us chlorous acid. And hypochlorite will give us hypochlorous acid. And that is how to name the acids. Now, coming down to this place, NO3- is nitrate. So the acid is going to, from 8 is going to ic acid. Remember? So the nitrate will give us nitric acid, which is HNO3. The minus has disappeared because there was plus from hydrogen. So this is nitric acid. Nitric acid. What about the one formed by NO2 minus? If we have hydrogen here, the minus disappears. Remember, NO2 minus is nitrite. So it is changing to os acid. Os acid. So the name is going to give us, the name is nitrous acid. That is nitrous acid. Coming to PO4, 3 minus, which is phosphate. The phosphate will give us H3PO4. Remember, the 3 minus comes here, 1 plus comes here. So this phosphate is going to give us phosphoric acid. Not phosphoric, phosphoric. Sorry, the spelling, phosphoric. Phosphoric acid. Phosphoric acid. The next is PO3, 3 minus, which is phosphite. The phosphite forms acid when it reacts with hydrogen, and we have H3PO3. Now, the acid of the phosphite is called phosphorus acid. Phosphorus acid. Phosphorus acid. Finally, PO2, 3 minus is hypophosphite. So, the hypophosphite forms an ion, H3PO2. Hypophosphite acid will give us hypophosphorus acid. And these are the acid equivalents of the oxyanions.